Good morning, guys. This is Ashwarya Misra welcoming you all on your own YouTube channel Norms IAS, a step towards your destination. So, guys, this video is going to be about foreign policy of Napoleon III. And one most important thing that I want to say that you will also find this video in Hindi on the same channel. आप इस वीडियो को हिंदी में भी देख सकते हैं नॉर्म्स IAS के चैनल पे. So, before starting the lecture, we have to focus on two key points: foreign policy and Napoleon III. So, what do you mean by foreign policy? Foreign policy means policy of any country for the other countries, relationship of any country with other countries. If I will make you understand in a very easier manner, so I can say so I can take the example of Indian foreign policy. So if I will talk about what do you mean by the foreign policy of India, then it means that the policy of India for other countries like US, Russia, China, Pakistan, and many more, we can say relationship of India with other countries, other neighboring countries. This relationship or this treaty sorry this relationship or this policy can be said in the term of export import, in the term of treaty, and many more things we can say. So this is about the foreign policy, and we have to also talk about Napoleon III. So Napoleon III was the emperor of France, and most significant recognition of him that he was the nephew of Napoleon Bonaparte. I hope you will read him after hearing that he was a nephew of Napoleon Bonaparte, and also hope that you all have a knowledge of Napoleon Bonaparte. If you don't, then I will tell about him in a very short manner. So Napoleon Bonaparte was that warrior who was defeated in the Battle of Waterloo in 1815. Now you all can relate in a very easier manner. So without wasting time, we have to now focus on our main theme of the lecture, that is foreign policies of him. So his first foreign policy that he had protected Rome. So this thing was done in 1848, and he had protected Rome from Mazzini. So this was the story of that time when there was a very strong feeling of nationalism that was going on in Italy for Italian unification, because at the time Italy was disintegrated into many parts, and all these parts were ruled by foreign powers except one, that was Piedmont Sardinia, and it was ruled by indigenous dynasty, we can say. So this was the story of Italy. This was story of that time when there was a feeling for Italian unification was going on, and Mazzini was, if I will talk about Mazzini, then Mazzini was one of the nationalists of Italy. And Mazzini had captured Italy only Mazzini had captured Rome only because he was persuaded by Count Caber. Count Caber also, he was a prominent figure of Italian unification, and he had persuaded Mazzini, to capture Rome. And if I will talk about Rome, then Rome was a part of Italy, and now it is also a part of Italy. But I will talk about Rome. Then Rome was dominated by Pope at the time, and Pope was backed up by France. So in this situation, if uh, if anyone had captured Rome, it means that it was a indirect challenge to French authority. So that's why Napoleon Bonaparte had interfered in all this, and he had recaptured Rome. And by his this step, he had also pleased his Catholic subjects. So it was his first step in a foreign policy, we can say. So second, I will say that he had participated in the Battle of Crimea. So we have also to know about the Battle of Crimea. That Battle of Crimea was a battle which was started in 1854 and lasted in 1856. This was a battle which was started by Russia, because Russia had first invaded in the region of Crimea. and Russia had invaded because it knew that Ottoman Empire became weak, and that's why Russia had invaded, because it thought that it is now easier to capture Crimea, because um, the main protector of Crimea, we can say Ottoman Empire, was weak at the time, and that's why it wanted to. And the most important reason for invading of Crimea by Russia was that Russia had no warm port, and that's why Russia wanted to capture it. So we will also talk about the participants of Crimea War. So participant of Crimea War, if I will talk about the participant of Crimea War, then I can say that main participant I will talk about here, Napoleon III, because I'm talking about the foreign policy of him. So Napoleon III, I will say that for as far as our lecture, he was the main player of it. And Britain had also participated in it, and Piedmont Sardinia had also. So all have had their own reasons to participate. So if I will talk about the reason of Britain, so Britain had its own reason, because Britain didn't want that Russia would capture Crimea, because if Russia would capture Crimea, then it become easier for Russia to capture on the path of Africa and Asia. And we also all of we also know that Britain had colonized the most of the part of Asia and Africa, and that's why it wanted to prevent Russia from capturing this Crimea. And Piedmont Sardinia had participated, as I have already talked about it, that there was a wave of nationalism was going on in Italy for the unification of it. And I have also talked about that Piedmont Sardinia was only one indigenous power of Italy. So Piedmont Sardinia wanted to represent, and Piedmont Sardinia wanted to show all the grievances, all the exploitative behavior of foreign powers, especially about Austria. That what were the exploitation that were going on in Italy. It wanted to show. That's why it had participated in it. So if I will talk about third policy of him, so this was the Treaty of Plombier, and this treaty was done between Piedmont Sardinia and France. And this treaty was done only because the participation of Piedmont Sardinia in Crimea battle, we can say. So Piedmont Sardinia had participated in this, and that's why it became possible to sign a treaty with France. So this treaty was signed with France, and under this treaty, France had promised that it would not help Austria whenever there would be a war between Austria and Piedmont Sardinia. But but I can say that France had only helped Piedmont Sardinia in capturing Lombardy. But when the time came to capture Venice, it had backed out from its promise, because it had done a treaty with Austria, and that's why it had backed out. And I have also jotted down the results of this treaty. Sorry, I have to write results, but I have written only results. Sorry for this. So what were the results? That Piedmont Sardinia could become able to capture only Lombardy, not Venice. And because France had deceived in between. And I will say, like, fourth point, that there was a wave of protest started against France in Italy also, because France had not helped Italy in its unification. That's why it is very obvious that protest had started in it. Okay, so third, it should be fourth. I have written third. So fourth policy of him, matrimonial alliance. This policy was also related with Piedmont Sardinia, because this treaty was also done between France and Piedmont Sardinia, and this was also one of the results of uh, Piedmont Sardinia participation in France. Sorry, in Crimea battle. So now we'll talk about the fifth point, Napoleon third, Napoleon third treaty with Austria. Yeah, this is something. Napoleon third treaty with Austria. So Napoleon third had done a treaty with Austria in 1859, and this was the same treaty because of which he had deceived Austria. He had deceived you can say Piedmont Sardinia, had not supported Piedmont Sardinia when it wanted to get the support of it in order to capture Venice. So this was the same treaty. Okay, so treaty was Villafranca Treaty, we can say, and done during the war between Austria and Piedmont Sardinia. I have jotted down it also. Okay, and France backed out from its promise in order to help Austria. So what was the result of this treaty? Result of this treaty, that population of Italy became fume. Okay, I have sorry. There's also a spelling mistake in became, and fume, it should be fume. I have written fumed, so sorry for this. Okay, I'm talking about this part. First I have to erase all this. Just wait for a second. Okay, now I am talking about this part. It should not be like this. Okay, this is a grammatical mistake I have not done. Okay, this is not done by me. I have sorry, uh, script this is a mistake of script writer. I am also sorry for him. Okay, my sixth point, France deceived Russia. So this was not only the Austria which was deceived by France. France had also deceived Russia. France had promised to Russia to help whenever there would be a police revolt, whenever there will be a revolt, and police revolt particularly we can say, but France had not do so. France had not done so. Because of this, we can see the result of it, like France had to face the degradation in its fame, and especially I'm talking about Napoleon III. Whenever I will say France, it means that Napoleon III, because emperor of France at that time was Napoleon III, and I'm also talking about his policy, so obviously it is Napoleon III. So Napoleon III had to face the degradation in his fame, and also Polish became also Russia. One second, I have to erase one thing. Okay, sorry, just remove it. Okay, sorry for this. Sorry for all this. One second. Okay, just remove it also. Okay, so France had to face degradation in its fame because of this. Okay, so these are all about Napoleon III's policy. These are all about his foreign policy. And if you people like this video, if you people find it very it is, if you find it helpful, then you will then please like, share and subscribe it. Thank you.